Well, just a couple of generations ago, pro hockey players needed a summer job to help make ends meet. How things have changed. Time to find out how much and how it happened. Our next guest was an NHL general manager at the age of 30. Today, he's host of Hockey Night in Canada Radio on Sirius. Gord Stellick, welcome to Context. Great to have you with us.
Thanks very much, Lorna. Very nice to see you.
Great audience. Yeah, it was Conn Smythe who let people work in his gravel pit, hockey players work in the gravel pit for their summer job. And how did it get this way where we're signing multi-million-dollar contracts? How did it change so drastically?
Well, Conn Smythe was letting everyone work in his gravel pit, but he was making millions of dollars. You know, the other guys were making the $7,000, $8,000 a year, needed the summer job. So what's happened is the players got a bit of that pie as the revenue pie as times went on, and it's what we're doing right here. It's the proliferation of media. Media all the time. I mean, bang, they're like rock stars now. So the revenues go up, and the salaries have gone up, and it's a much bigger business.
Okay, tell us, how does television fit into that? Yeah, I don't think we realize how media is feeding that machine.
Well, you know, when I grew up as a kid, you know, so Saturday night was Hockey Night in Canada. That was the one game a week you watched. You know, now your 9-year-old kid can be a fan of any team because you got like 20 stations with everything, right? So yeah. The Leafs tick you off one night, you're a Colorado Avalanche fan the next night, and you're watching their games and on their network, and you're watching the Bruin games on NESN, and it goes on and on and on. So you go buy merchandise, which, you know, costs money. It's just that way that the whole marketing element has taken over. So everyone's making more money. It is a big business. It was a big business back then. They just marketed it very differently. It was a more simple business, and the players weren't getting a fair share.
So has all this money, all this marketing, made the game better?
No, it hasn't made the game better, but the game's still great. I mean, nowadays the game, the athletes are faster, they're bigger, everything's at a more frantic pace, but I think the game is what you make of the game and whatever your best memories are. And some people's best memories are Paul Henderson or Frank Mahovlich or, you know, that kind of era, and some kids it's nowadays. So the game is still great.
The quality of the sport, the quality of the game being played on the ice is not faster, not sharper.
I think it's faster. Whether it's better, do you like it? You know, some people don't like it faster, a frantic pace, a 30-second shift, and you're going 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, they like, you know, you look at the old games, and Phil Esposito of the Boston Bruins, it looked like he could have a cigarette and a martini out there as he did a 2.5-minute shift, you know, back playing with Bobby Orr, you know. So, but I enjoyed those games as much. It's just very different now. Okay,
you have been on both sides of this because as the youngest general manager in the NHL, right. Also the youngest general manager to leave and go
youngest ex-general manager too. Yeah, those are two records I'm proud of.
You've worked for the owners.
Right.
Now you really work for the fans on Hockey Night and Radio. Whose side are you on in this labor dispute?
I'm on the fans, you know, and that's a corny answer. I think right now I feel in this particular labor dispute, there's not the vitriol or the rancor like there was in 2004 that the two sides didn't like each other. I mean, they're just looking at it's a $3.3 billion revenue pie. Figure out how you're going to divvy it up, and I believe there's a deal to be made there. And I think, you know, part of what's happened with the fans now is we're the conduit to them, right? Because the players are rock stars. They park underground now, you know, like rock stars do. I can remember at Maple Leaf Gardens, Darryl Sittler and Borje Salming, they had to come out that side door and battle off the fans and sign autographs with their big fur coats that they wore back then, and, you know, try to get in their car as they signed stuff. So there was, you know, a connect that way. And I think that's kind of the problem nowadays is that there may be one cut above, and we're more the connect to the fans.
Wow. Okay, so you know some things that are going on behind the scenes.
Right.
What aren't we getting as the general public about this game that we love? What aren't we getting in the labor negotiations?
Well, I think part of it, again, it's us, that we want instant answers. We want big press conferences with big announcements. So we're disappointed when they say nothing has really happened. And there's dialogue going on with Gary Bettman, the commissioner, and Donald Thier, the head of the Players Association. There's these calls, these emails behind the scene that in some ways, like I think a lot of things in life, more work gets done quietly. And I think right now that we have the lockout, and then the players have shown that they're unafraid to be locked out, that neither side needs to be afraid of losing face. You know, optically, it won't look like a win for one side over the other. So I thought it would go this way, and I think they will craft a deal.
You talked about things are going on quietly, and then you've got the media frenzy that has to keep getting fed. You're a daily show. What are you going to talk about? How are you going to find out the news when it's got to sit quiet for a little while?
Well, I was going to ask your schedule, because I know you're a big hockey fan, so it'd be great to have you on a little bit, talk about, you know, that would be a challenge. And I think more like Paul Henderson's an excellent example right now. We're doing a whole look back to 40th anniversary of all those games. We're playing all those 8 games of the Summit Series. I think rather than, people don't like being bogged down on labor stuff, right? So more reflective and fun memories and personalities.
Maybe you'll have to have Dennis Hull on. You know how Paul has shifted his career from hockey to our world of faith exploration. Dennis had some opinions about that.
Yeah. Well, Dennis Hull's like the best after-dinner speaker ever. He played on Team Canada 72 with Paul. He played really well. They're both left wingers, and he's, of course, his brother Bobby Hull is the guy, the butt of a lot of his jokes. But he'll wax poetic about, you know, Paul Henderson's scored all the goals, and then he said, Paul, it was overwhelming. He had the personal epiphany. He found God, and then he was born again, the whole thing. And Dennis Hull just says, all I can say is, thank God I didn't score those 3 goals. That's his line as an after-dinner speaker of many things. But he says it with respect.
Okay, so this lockout, how is it different than the last one? Totally different.
Last time, Bob Goodenow was head of the Players Association. He and Gary Bettman, there was, you know, when it's personal, it's personal. When you're playing brinksmanship, it's a tough game. Last time it was about whether they had a salary cap, a new system or not in the game. Ultimately, after a year out, the owners won and got the salary cap. They're not fighting the system now. They're not fighting those types of things. It's just do, re, mi. The owners want a few more dollars. The players are saying, well, we're a little reluctant to give up too many dollars that you say you need.
Okay, so how long are you betting that this is going to last?
I'm a glass half full guy. I think like you are, you know, as far as being positive. And I really think it would be something like we'll have a hiccup, maybe miss about 10 games at the start of the season. But I think we have the lockout now, but we really don't have the ultra 11th hour now. So I'm remaining optimistic.
Okay, well, Nash is saying it's going to be all season long.
Yeah, but wait, the guy's been around for 3 years. What does he know? I mean, like, it's like September the 20th. I mean, that's like your kid says that, you know, whatever. I mean, that kind of thing. So I think he'll be wrong.
Well, Hockey or Not, Hockey Night in Canada Radio returns this fall. Thank you, Gord, for being here.
My
Great
pleasure.
to have you. Well, coming up, more with Paul Henderson on life off the ice.
Thanks, guys.
Duet. It's amazing.